Hello and welcome to the Offsite Dirt Network. One of our favorite conversations here is high performance build. And all the way from the beautiful state of Michigan, we're joined by some lovely friends here today. And I'm going to kick it off first with Kristin. Kristin, you're with Climate, and please introduce yourself and then keep passing it around.
Super. Thank you so much, Audrey and Mark. Such a privilege to talk with you today and your audience. I'm Kristin Corra. I'm Business Development Manager for Climate Adhesive, which exists to mitigate against loss and damage from seismic and violent wind events. So just looking to add in such a low cost, high performance way, high performance build with Mark Willie, against all these natural perils that are only increasing, unfortunately. As oceans warm, as the mid-continental tornado alley moves southward and eastward, we're unfortunately more relevant than ever. So we want to make sure the offsite construction audience is fully aware and starts to optimize both the performance as well as operations with the adhesive. So happy to be here. Thank you.
That is wonderful. Thank you, Kristin, for giving us a quick overview. And not only that, we have this master with us. I like to call him the Jedi of climate adhesive. We have Phil with us. How are you today, Phil?
I'm fine. It's cold here in Michigan, so I've got a
What a
little bit of
surprise.
frog in my throat. But
You're doing great. We would love, if you wouldn't mind, maybe over the next couple of minutes, just give us a brief background because it is pretty notorious in this industry. We'd love to hear more about you.
well, I don't know if I'm notorious, but I go back to 1965 when I got out of Western Michigan University with a degree in chemistry and biology and paper science. And I went to work in 1968 for U.S. Plywood. And in that division, they had all kinds of adhesives, including some of the first panel and construction adhesives that were used at that time. So this is somewhat historical as I go forward. We had neoprene, which was a solvent-based product, and we had developed an acrylic latex construction adhesive. And 2 years later, the American Plywood Association wanted to start a project to develop a single ply flooring system, which would involve adhesives and the application of plywood instead of multiple pieces of wood. And we saved the labor, which was tremendous, and cut nails in half and improved the span tables and saved a tremendous amount of money. And from that point on, every adhesive that was used in that flooring had to pass the AFG01 test. And we developed that with the American Plywood Association and with Forest Products Laboratories in Madison, Wisconsin. We could not get it applied to walls and roofs because they couldn't see the glue line. They could see the nails. And it wasn't as great a cost savings as the floor was. So dial forward another 40 years. Now we're running into maybe the most violent weather and most frequent tornadoes and wind events that you've ever seen. And buildings are getting blown apart. So there's a need right now for improvements in the construction of single family wood structures, what we call panel on frame construction. At this point, the adhesives that we developed back in 1970 have been improved tremendously to meet the structural requirements of the American Plywood Association and other people that are beginning to adopt to highly elastic and but strong adhesives. Eventually, I think that all buildings made of wood, they're going to adopt adhesives of this type. So I hope that's a thumbnail sketch of it. I was a pioneer in the area of polyether chemistry from My first work at Chemlink, which I started in 1990, until I sold it in 2016, and I'm still working on advanced polyether. So uh, that's a biography of sorts. Um, as you can see, I'm an old guy, but I'm still working and developing things, and things just get better as we go. So
Much more than a biography, Phil. It's a legacy and it's a transformation in the market. My favorite one is how you said that about the plywood taking over one buys, right?
yes,
32 square feet all at once is a dramatic savings in labor and material.
oh, yes, we saved the material savings alone over 30%, and labor was 50 to 70%. And you can't even estimate the savings in nails.
Right.
So,
So, standing front and center for everyone to see, right? We have this NS sitting here on this, and I would like to ask, non-slump, right? Why non-slump adhesive? How come this needed to be created? And why do we need to deploy it now on factories and job sites around everywhere?
well, first of all, if you're going to use it on subflooring, you don't need a non-slump adhesive. But our intention was to have it used on vertical applications like walls and pitch roofs, and we couldn't have it run all over the place. So it has a very special rheology, which is an unusual word, but it's a description of viscosity. It's like mayonnaise, but when you apply it, it stays right where it's at until you compress it between two substrates. So a non-slump is a description of the physical characteristics of the material itself.
Kristin, what are you seeing from your perspective, being in business development and meeting clients and out there advocating for the company? How is it effectively working with modular panel performers and in the sustainability area and the optimization? What are you seeing?
Sure. So it's getting to those folks that are already unafraid to build over code, so that they understand this is a super low cost, high performance way of optimizing not only the panel builds themselves. So we see the advantages in three separate kind of buckets, major buckets in their ecosystem, what they have to do right. Not only, so most importantly, probably first is the panel build itself is just that much more resilient. That's tied to the logistics of it getting on site delivered intact, right? I'm sure that is obviously important in this kind of business model. For folks to understand, it's not going to get damaged in transit. The likelihood is less the more ductile and flexible and strong that build is in the factory. And then of course, field assembly itself makes all the sense in the world to make sure that it's resilient between the panels as well, wherever possible. I know a lot of wraps are involved, but if you can have wood to wood with that adhesive, it is a barrier of a lot of different things simultaneously, as well as the high performance with the resiliency of its, because it's a silo terminated elastomeric polyether, so it's non-toxic as well, which is huge in the sphere. Phil tried to go down his brilliant brain of all the, try to mitigate from the outset all the reasons people would say no, because the construction industry itself is traditionally quite conservative, and a nail works. Why would I do anything else? Well, you'll do something else. The offsite construction folks are already doing something else. Doing, the fact that it is offsite in itself is hugely innovative and looking at, it's based on the premise of optimization. So we're really, really excited of what the adhesive as, being so high performing, like that step change that in the subfloor was an AFG01 of mitigating all the materials possible, mitigating all the labor time savings as well. But think about all the carbon and financial costs averted simultaneously. So we love all that sort of good force multiplication that a simple adhesive adds by, just by incorporating it into the builds and your operations in a factory setting.
I add too that the sausage yield up, Mark, is our first product, but we now have quart cartridges, or 28-ounce cartridges, I should say, and 10-ounce cartridges for detail work. So those are available to contractors as needed. And the resilience of this product can't be underestimated. This 900% elongation improves the shock absorbing characteristics of the product so that you can have pounding winds like hurricanes and in some cases tornadoes that will be dissipated all over the surface of the building like an eggshell. And the energy absorption capabilities of this product is huge collectively. It's hard to see when you're just building a building how it's going to perform in a high wind environment or seismic environment. We can crash test cars, but we can't crash test houses. But we can't do it very readily. So this is where this really stands out.
What makes you feel so inspired to keep creating and keep your chemistry brain on and doing this research? And you've sold one company, and now you've got this next one. What keeps you excited about it?
Well, the first company was Chemlink, and it addressed problems that were in relatively low slope roofing. And I always wanted to go back to the AFGO1 experience that I had with US Plywood and rejoin the fight for getting stronger buildings. The inspiration is this is a fun business. I like doing what I'm doing. Technology is moving very quickly, and the implementation of that technology is really exciting. But more importantly, I want to save lives. If I have a legacy, it's that people can survive in their own house in a high wind situation or earthquake or something like that, and not have any fatalities. The other thing, of course, is the savings of the property itself, which I believe we can really do a lot for. So that's the thing that keeps me going every morning. So
He's unstoppable.
except for snow.
I like that you created a product that emulates your personality and drive. Kristin said it perfect, the word unstoppable. Uh, it's a healthy mindset to not only embrace the protection of the people in the structures, but to transform how the workforce applies that, right? It's such a story from US Plywood on, and a lot of us know, love, and have used Chemlink throughout our career, and now we get to see the face, right? And it's quite brilliant. As you continue to roll these things forward through the market, please know that Audrey and her own unstoppable force in the modular offsite world is going to be a champion. From the boots on the ground on the job sites that receive these things, I'll be the voice to make sure people know who you are and your team of Kristin and the likes. We appreciate having the two of you on Offsite Dirt Network on the high performance build. And when people want to reach out to you, we're going to keep that information readily available. And it shows they should look for you. And from the inspection community to the third party community to all the folks modeling these buildings, know that Climate Adhesive is your friend. And they got your back, and they got your roof.
I want to add one thing, Mark, that I didn't. The development of the polyether technology was after I developed a number of urethane products based on isocyanates. One of the things I wanted to do was get away from toxic materials, and we got away from solvents, and we got away from isocyanates and other things that are potentially cancer causing. So you have a product now at your disposal that is very, very safe to use, even in a confined space. Although outdoor applications are not exactly that. And the other thing is, after you put it all together, there's no residual odors in the building, no toxic materials that could cause anybody any sickness or anything like that. And the other thing is that this material cures at a very low temperature. You can apply it at 30, and actually it can be frozen and then reactivated again. So you get a full cure once it comes up to 35 degrees. Uh, Elevated temperatures are not a problem. You can use it up to 120 degrees. It'll just cross-link faster. Low moisture content in the atmosphere isn't a problem. We've been successful with climate products in places like Arizona. We have a 5% relative humidity, and the cure is as fast as it is with 50%. So these are very sophisticated products, and frankly, it's taken this long to develop them. They were done one at a time. Each attribute of the product was hard-fought R&D project. So
You are
that's
the
all.
man, Phil. We are so proud of you. We're happy to have this interview with you. And that's the dirt on Offsite Dirt. Have a great day.